Paul Fenton had any clue of how good Granlund was. I mean, Paul's, when you're the Nashville assistant GM, you might have an appreciation for guys like Granlund and Spurgeon and anybody on the Wild, but until you get your eyes on them and really focus on them, you just don't know. I remember I was talking to Doug McLean once when he was I'd ask him when he was a GM of Columbus, like, hey, who'd you like on the Wild? And he'd be like, or the Panthers at the time. No, it would have been the Wild because he, I don't know. I've covered so many lockouts. Yeah, it would have been the Wild.
You've been.
He'd be like, honestly, I don't. He's like, I don't.
I've covered a lot of lockouts.
He's like, I don't. I can't tell you. I was just watching my guys, and I bet you that's the way with Fenton. Curvers probably has a better idea because he, as a scout, was watching both teams. But I bet you those are the guys that that unless you're here, you don't know how good Spurgeon is. Unless you're here, you don't know how good Granlund is. Sometimes those of us are here still kind of underestimate them. I know that Mary O'Neill could tell you that I'm probably one of those people that's guilty of that with Granlund.
Yeah, Mary would say that.
Definitely.
Let's see. The next Twitter question is Darren Walker. The NHL is getting younger and faster. Don't you think the Wild appear to be getting older and slower? Eric Fehr and Matt Hendricks are pieces that you pick up at the trade deadline for a playoff run, not exactly season-long improvements to get you there. And before we get to that, let's thank Tony Hoagland, Hoaglund, your State Farm agent in Champlin. You can work with him wherever he is. Michael and I get our insurance through him. And Google Tony Hoagland. You'll enjoy working with Tony.
Hey, Minnesota sports fans. This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Hoagland. I need you all to ask yourselves this question. If you're in an at-fault car accident and you are sued for $700,000, how much of that $700,000 will my current insurance company pay? If you are unsure or can't answer all $700,000, you need to give us a call. State Farm has been number one in car insurance since World War II and number one in homeowners insurance since 1964. For a no-obligation review of your current policies, call us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at www.champlininsurance.com.
All right, what do you think of Darren's premise and question?
Yeah, I think it's fair. We'll see if JT plays. That might make them a little faster, but you're right. I felt they were slower last year, but they were slower with Gimpy, Nino, and Coyle too, and Parisi on the back. As long as, you don't have to be the greatest skaters in the world and play fast. And the Wild looked slower last year in a lot of ways because I felt that they played slower at times. But yeah, I think that's fair. I do think that this league is a fast young league right now. The Wild are aging, and they definitely aren't as fast as they used to be.
From Russo's Gamer, now that Vegas isn't the new girl in town, what Gamer Games segment on the road are you most looking forward to?
Ask that again?
He's basically saying now that Vegas isn't new to you, what Gamer Game segment on the road are you most looking forward to? So where do you want to travel? What part of the schedule are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to that Vegas March trip where I'll be there like 3 days. Got a pre-scout. You know what I'm looking forward to is I'm going to my cousin's wedding in January. Missing 2 home games for it, which will be rough because I was just thinking today, like it's easy with NHL TV that you can watch anywhere, but I'm not positive that like you'd be able to watch from Costa Rica. Like I don't know if you have to be in this like continent. Technically Costa Rica is North America, but you know what I mean? Like I just have this feeling like it's going to say you have no rights, location wise to watch this, which to miss 2 home games can be concerning, but I'm really looking forward to some in January, heart of January. I'm going to Costa Rica for 4 days and then flying right from Costa Rica to Vegas because you can't miss the Vegas game.
No, absolutely.
So that'd be fun. But why is there Russo's game? I'm thinking like Gamer, like playing games. It just dawned on me that Gamer is my gamer. I got it. Very funny. Yes. Very funny Twitter parody account, the latest one. But yeah, that would probably be it. I'm still Vegas still. That's always my there's another one also I'm looking forward to. The Wild play in end of February. I think around the trade deadline in Winnipeg and then go to Calgary, but they got like 2 or 3 days off. So Bruce is taking them to Banff. And they're practicing up there. So naturally, I've got to go. And I love Banff, except for the time that
You got a story? You got a Banff story?
Well, you remember the time where I had to sleep over?
Yeah, well, the pajamas. Only you would bring up a story like that. Your Riseboro pajama story.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if you haven't heard that story,
we'll tell it again.
Yeah, we'll tell it next podcast.
We'll tell it. Let's better live.
I think that I feel bad because I think Riseboro has heard that I've told this story publicly, and I think that he is not happy that I've let that be known, and I get the impression that he wasn't pleased that there's certain things that are supposed to be off the record.
What happens in Doug's Riseboro's bedroom stays in Doug's
it wasn't
bedroom.
In Doug's bedroom, but
I didn't say you were.
You know what I mean. So anyway, let's continue. Can we, Brandon? Brandon, you got some deletions to do.
From Russo's Filter, is Bruce pumping Ericsson X tires to try to build up his confidence?
No, I think he really believes it. Well, maybe. I agree. You gotta. Yeah, I would say. I'd like him to score, man, but man, he was good the other night.
From our friend MJ, Mike, how are Mom and Oliver? She asked. She's so
good.
Nice
Mom just got to Budapest today. It is funny when she's out of the country sometimes. That's when you realize that you miss your mother because, like I was walking over the bridge now. I'm like, God, I'm bored. Oh, let's just call my mom. Nope, she's in Budapest.
Good Lord. She travels more than
hopefully
you.
Hopefully she listens to this podcast and sees that hears that I actually said something nice about her.
Yes.
Because sometimes
this is the one she'll miss.
Sometimes she... Yeah, she'll like that.
Mary also asks, are there some teams that you're amped to see this season, good talent or acquisitions?
Well, I want to see how good Arizona is. Arizona went 3-0 against the Wild last year, and Clayton Keller just erupted, and I think they got better. I think Clayton Keller is going to have a magnificent season if he's healthy, and I think that Arizona just got better with some of the offseason's moves that they made. So I'm looking forward to seeing them.
All righty.
Wild might not, but I am.
And Mary's such a good listener, such a gracious listener. She says, what's your favorite food at Delano's? Is there a salad named in her honor?
I like the Greek salad, definitely. I was talking to Jared, the owner, the other day, and he really wants to get. I probably shouldn't say this because it's probably giving away an idea that he has, but he wants to get Bruce in there to make a pizza. Then name that pizza.
Well, when are we going to get Bruce on our show?
I'd love to. I'll try to see if he'd come to the October 2nd one, but 2 days before the season, Bruce at night, he's not the way he was when he was a player. He needs to get his beauty sleep. He's not somebody that wants to, especially the night before leaving I would say that that's going to be very difficult. The night before his final practice of the season to get them to Denver, he's going to want to come on the podcast, but I will try. Well, I'll put the Jared Gruid card out there because he's buddies with Jared.
Yeah, I'm disappointed you haven't made it happen to this point.
We'll try.
All right. From Joe Rogers, how do you feel about Eriksson Ek at wing and Greenway at center so far this preseason?
I like Greenway at center. It looks good. I like Eriksson Ek. Again, it's hard to tell. I mean, the one thing I've learned in this business is you don't want to get too high off what you see on the ice in training camp.
Right.
I mean, otherwise Charlie Coyle would be in the Hall of Fame by now.
Ooh. From WH Bonnie 14, he's gigging me here. Who can run a faster mile, Sokolov or Guillaume Latendresse? Can't wait to listen back to hear your pronunciations. How close did I come?
You did not get Latendresse right.
I didn't?
Yeah, Guillaume.
Guillaume, yeah.
Guillaume Latendresse.
I thought I came closer than that. Okay, we'll move on. From Tom Hone, since the roster is basically the same as a year ago, is the organization's strategy that most of their offensive talent doesn't go MIA for the fourth playoff season in a row?
Well, I mean, it's hard to answer now. I think their hope is that they have a good year and then they can make significant moves at the deadline. But again, they also will not want to give up their core. At that point, if they're in it, they're not going to want to give up their UFAs like Stahl. And again, I'm doing a story on Tim Army in Iowa for hopefully tomorrow, Tuesday, where Tom Curver says that the biggest problem with the talent in this organization is more quantity rather than quality, and it's because they've traded so many draft picks and they don't want to trade their draft picks. So the question is, what can you trade then? If you're at the trade deadline, you want to improve to get this team over the hump, and you're not willing to give up your core, and you don't want to give up draft picks, and obviously we know this team isn't bustling with prospects, so you don't want to give up them. There's not a lot of trading picks, so we might wind up seeing Fenton be patient here and just say, look, it is what it is. Let's see if this team can get it done if healthy. and keep their picks, keep their prospects, get another draft next year where they get a full allotment of picks, and try to really replenish the prospect pool.
2 more questions. Russo slacks. Why doesn't Bite Squad?
He gets 2 questions?
Yes, this is a good one. Why doesn't Why doesn't Bite Squad have Russo Hockey do surprise deliveries, kind of like the Wild players do for season tickets? Works for me.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't asked me of. This is actually a funny one. Like if I got any online gifts lately.
Have you gotten any online gifts lately?
Yes, I went on Instagram and got a 50% off Athletics sub for that player today. So I'm like, all right, this player makes a good amount of money. I'm going to buy him his sub. Well, I don't want to spend the $59.99. I know the athletic.com/I know Russo is 40% off, but I'm like, God, I'm pretty sure on Instagram this morning I saw 50% off, and I went on there and there it was, 50% off. So for $29.99, this player got a subscription to the Athletic for the year.
Well, thank God for that.
And then I slack somebody at the Athletic that's in accounting. I say, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you take my credit card off the guy's account? Because I don't want that player to now know my credit card number.
Last Twitter question. We appreciate everybody sending in Twitter questions. Appreciate all your support.
They didn't teach that in sports writing school.
They did not teach that in sports
writing school. Probably not
objective.
So
check it out. Bitesquad.com. Promo code TalkNorth. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Twill in the Dining Galleria, Delano's Pizza, downtown Minneapolis, and in Woodbury, Fixologyrepair.com, Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent in Champlin, and last but not least, WizKids.tech, your chief technology ally. Now, a final question from Trey Wade. It's 1 week before the trading deadline. The Wild are tied for the 8th seed in the West. You have an aging roster and the 31st ranked under 23 prospect pipeline in the NHL. Are you buying, selling, or staying pat at the deadline? What does Paul Fenton do?
Actually, that's exactly what I just said on the previous one. It wouldn't shock me if they stand pat because of everything I just said. You almost need to just roll the dice, hope that this year they get lucky based on the way they play, health, goaltending, and maybe the matchup too. It's sometimes it might be better to cross over and play the Western Conference, although this year the Pacific. Although this year I wouldn't want to run into San Jose. Last year I would have.
Thanks everybody for.
Wait, I got a final thought. I finally have a final thought, and it's a hockey related.
You're shocking me. It's the coffee. It's the coffee talking.
I did a story today. Or yesterday on the Athletic on all lefty number 1 power play they have. They have Granlund on the left top half of the half wall. They got Suter eventually, now the Brodin, Stahl, Zucker, Nino. And the point is that they're trying to take the page out of the Winnipeg Jets book with their all righty power play with Wheeler on the right. And people, there have been debates on the comment field of my story about whether or not this works. And what I will totally agree with is Wheeler, Scheifele, and Laine are a little different than what the Wild have. And that's the concern, is that, what makes that power play work is you got an unbelievable shooter in Laine in sort of the Eric Stahl spot. And as much as I love Stahl, he's not Laine. And Scheifele as the bumper, what makes him so good in that middle is that he could pass, he could shoot, he could put it back to Big Buff at the point. It's a totally different look. Suter is not Big Buff. Zucker I don't know if what makes me concerned about the Wild's alignment is Zucker at the middle, because he's not a good passer, and so I think that's a problem. That's what makes Scheifele so good there. And then where Zucker is so good at is he's got a great shot, but he's great around the net, and he's great with the speed going to the net and making plays and things like that. And to have him shoot from up top the way he did, like he had a shot the other night against Tampa Bay where it's just like he turned and fired. And it was just like, there's nothing he could have done from there, even if Nino was standing right in the goalie's eyes. And so I just don't know how long this alignment will last. Like, it wouldn't shock me if 2 games into the season it's different and they get like at least a Coyle like in that bumper spot or a Greenway in front of the net. So I guess what I'm saying is that like I'm willing to watch it work. It looked to me like there could be a ton of options the other night against a minor league penalty kill that Colorado had. It looked exciting. They moved the puck great, but let's see it against real competition here, and then we'll all make our we can all ascertain if this is going to work.
Pretty little city built on a hillside. Music in the bars and fire in the sky. beach and it was covered in ice. And I used to call it home. So much coming